Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing the new blue-white deck. I think this is the deck I just 4-1 with it, just like plowing through pretty much everything in the field. The only downside is this deck is slow as heck. So it's Felia, Riddler, Tamio. Those are your creatures. And then you just flow state your face off, basically. You have Lorien revealed and Ponder to count as sorceries. And you have 4 Erode. Erode just is so good. Like, I am incredibly impressed with this card. So it's like playing 8 plows. So almost everything in your deck costs like 1 mana to cast. And you got a Teferi here, which is just really convenient if you get into a dirtily match off. It's something you can also flicker for value with Felia. We also have a Narset in the sideboard. I got the cool anime Narset here. And then we have just tons of more interaction. We've got back to basics. We've got rest in peace. We don't care about our graveyard beyond flow state. If I resolve a rest in peace, I just hold flow state for force, basically. And then we've got Wrath of the Skies, which is so good right now. And then we've got 2 forces main deck, no tempo elements whatsoever. This is a $1,000 legacy deck. I'm not playing the Tundra. You could absolutely play a Tundra here if you have one. Let's play some matches. Round 1, we're up against a likely Doomsday gamer. This hand is okay. I don't really need this much land. Plow doesn't do anything against them, I don't think. It's good against exactly Tamio. I'm going to treat this like a 5-lander. I'm going to mull this. I'm playing 19 lands. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. I'll just put back the plains, and I can grab that off my prismatic later. I could actually just lead with this. I don't hate that. I'm not going to be casting anything. Yeah, this preserves some mystery as to whether I'm on, like, if they know anything about my channel. Like, basically every deck I play has Prismatic Vista in it. Thoughtseize? I'll let that happen. So Erode is just so sweet. I mean, I can't, like, I thought this card was going to be good. It's even better than it's been. Like, because just playing 8 plows just means you almost never die to creatures. Like that Merc, that Baragorf, whatever. Like, yeah, it's just insane. Okay, we ripped up Ponder. We've already got I mean, this shows them what we drew, but like, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And then I can choose to keep some of these cards or all of them. I've got my force effect. These cards are pretty good. I don't want the plow. I do want the Tamio. I'll take the brainstorm now in case they Thoughtseize me again, and then I have to force. Next turn I can actually, I'll just Tamio, and I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to try to pressure them. This deck does not pressure. This is like the lowest pressure deck maybe I've ever played. This deck wins on like turn 15 consistently. I actually won a match against Beanstalk with 3 seconds on my clock. That's how dirtily this is. So we are going to go ahead and make our move here, and then we'll pass. They are choosing to force that. I am okay with that. I'll take my 2 for 1s when I can. This deck, again, does not pressure. Tamio is expendable. She's meant to draw the plows and the forces so that Felia can hit. Another Thoughtseize. I'm just going to let it happen. I'm not going to get a bad brainstorm. They are in a pretty commanding position here. I don't have any engines online, but I will draw lots of cards. I will definitely outdraw them given enough time, but I'm not sure that I'll get enough time. They took my brainstorm there. So they have Doomsday on tap. It sucks that they get the first flow state. I am going to get a flow state eventually. They already know what's in my hand, so me waiting and thinking is not giving away anything. I am just worried about clock. Yeah, I'm going to let it go. They have the mana for Doomsday. They don't even need a Dark Ritual. They just need the Doomsday, and then they can win. All right, so I'm going to take a natural draw. I still want to preserve this. That sucks. Wait, did I know that was coming? I knew that was coming. I punted. That's totally terrible in this matchup. Another flow state. This is how it ends. I'm still not going to move. I'm just going to accept that I punted. I needed this card to be something else. Another land. There's the brainstorm. They're getting a perfect brainstorm on top of the flow state. This game is lost. I'm just trying to, like, it's not completely lost. I think we're like maybe 2 or 3%. Like, we could draw exact. Is the top card known? I'm going to feel really dumb if I draw a known card. I don't think it's known. Okay, well, that's extremely unfortunate. I think at this point we're so low. Like, they're going to be able to force through their Doomsday, and even if, yeah, that's fine. I'll stick with it. Because top decking a Riddler and them not being able to daze for some reason, they don't have a daze at this point. I'm in a good plan. What? Okay, well, I let the other 3 resolve. I guess I'll let this one resolve too. Or the other two, I guess. Okay, here this comes, and they just have the force. Yeah, you have to force this. I will choose to preserve some life, and I also add all this, but it doesn't matter. They have a force. What? Personal tutor. Okay. I can't make them shuffle. It's a May. But they did put a second Doomsday on top, and there's nothing I could draw here that can save me from it. It's extremely unlikely they don't have a daze, but Felia could potentially mess up the math a little bit. But with so much mana, I can't imagine they pass the turn here. So I'm going to let them make their pile before I attempt to cast Felia, which will likely be dazed. I wasn't dazable yesterday, the previous turn when I forced. So they're on like a turbo. I don't even think they're playing any Tamios if they're playing personal tutor. But with Flow State, you don't necessarily need Tamio anymore. That's a crazy thing. Like, who would have thought instead of banning Tamio, they just power creeper out of the format? All right, our hand does nothing, but like there is a ridiculous world where this resolves and then we draw what's his face, Riddler, and then we somehow we're still not going to get enough cards. Yeah, they just have the force. Okay, so we'll let this game play out. Well, if there's a card that can help us, it's this. We need a land, and we need like a land with a plow. They may have another force, but they wouldn't have dazed. They would have dazed instead of forced if they had a daze. We finally get ours, and this is a brainstorm. They're going into their pile. Okay, so this is going to resolve. And these aren't terrible, but they're going to still have a pile. But if they don't, like a plow could do it, but they know I have a plow. So why would they ever leave me with a plow? There's no merit to pondering here. Thoughtsies? Okay. So they'll take the ponder here, and then I fetch Surveil, because they can't stop all these. Street Wraith. Okay, now they can win. No, they still need to Street Wraith through the rest of their pile. So they still have to wait 2 turns if they don't have another cantrip effect. They said, oops, misclicked. Well, we'll take those, but I still think we're dead, right? Consider, okay, now they can clear their pile, and the game's over. Wait, they put it on the bottom, so the next card, okay. So I have to stop them now. I need a force. Let's take a look at their pile. Like, I didn't even look because I was so doomery. I'll go ahead and grab the Meticulous Archive here, since we're definitely surveilling, trying to find action. Let's take a look. Erode, we can definitely bin that. We definitely don't want that. And then let's take a look at what they have over here. All right, so I see no creatures whatsoever. They're completely creatureless, other than, of course, so I can take out 8 cards here. That's really good. And I don't think they're going to board in creatures, and even if they do, I've got things that can mess with them. Brutal. Like they said, oop, misclick, but I don't think that means, oops, I lost the game because I misclicked, because they're still playing. They're going to go ahead and go for it here. I don't see caverns. Yeah, there's the caverns. Okay. And again, that game was really lost the second they started flow stating. So, Erode comes out. I'm going to take out all the plows. I'm bringing in Narset. I'm bringing in all my forces. Bringing back to basics. Consign is mediocre here. It is a blue card for force. I think it's better than these cards, frankly. Like, it's possible they switch to like Beargoyf or something, but can I beat a Beargoyf? Not with the current configuration. The only thing Consign does against their entire deck is stops the final trigger. But if they haven't Thoughtseize me, that might be enough. My only answer currently to a Beargoyf is Teferi, if they're playing that, or if they're playing Murktide. But I can bounce Murktide. I can shrink it with Felia. The real concern I have, though, is Beargoyf, because it might be bigger than Quantum Riddler. I'm going to try this. I'm going to trust that they're just going to be totally creatureless, and they're not going to have a creature juke. This is a snap keep, but we never snap keep. I just take about 5 seconds to look over at Marv, the tree across the street, named after the Home Alone Wet Bandits. Marv, he's doing great. Let's keep. So in this situation, I am not going to ponder immediately, because I may need to force. They are unlikely to have Wasteland. We didn't see it. I think this is basically a free surveil. So they are going to try to turbo. They do have a long game in flow state, but I have that same long game. I am going to ponder rather than Lorien Revealed, because there's a very real possibility that I get to Lorien Revealed. Like, I actually get to cast it. The games do go very long. That's going to stay. All right, so do I have any white cards in my entire deck? I don't think so, other than Teferi, so I can safely just ponder off this. I can even bait a daze here. These are great. I need all of these. I don't really need the Lorien revealed. I'll take it like that, and I'll take this island, I guess. I should have technically put the island, or put the Riddler in hand, but actually it'll be better if we get into a force fight, I can completely reload with that. So I've got 2 consigns that I can pitch to force, and I've got the Lorien revealed to fetch yet another land, but I can't do that this turn. And again, I'm hoping to actually cast that. Okay, they're not doing anything. They could have Bowmaster, which would be really annoying, actually. I want to play this out, and top card of my deck is a Lorien revealed. I think I just hold up the Force of Negation, consign, like all this stuff. I thought these would be annoying because losing my Riddler would suck. Okay, they're fetching. They may just cast the Doomsday from hand, which unfortunately, yeah, they have a pedal. Well, I'm going to go ahead and fight this. The other, you just never let this resolve. I firmly believe you don't let it resolve. Okay, and so I'll take this Lorien revealed, and then I will cast it in the end step. Or I'll go ahead and cast it now. I need to get a land. I'm going to go get my Hallowed Fountain out of my deck. Wait, I can put a force on top? I think that's worth doing. And I can't use it immediately, but I can cast. I could just go for it. I could also Riddler and have Riddler arrive early. That is a use of consign. I just don't like to use it that way. I could Riddle now. Just get a card. I think I just wait and surprise them with the Riddler. I am going to warp the Riddler. I'm not going to cast him. I'm not in a hurry. I just want to have my mana up the entire time. Duress. They could go for it again here. I actually might want to go ahead and cycle Lorien revealed. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm cycling away the land, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe that was a misplay. Because now I don't have a guaranteed force next turn. Yeah, I think that was a misplay. Grab a Hallowed Fountain just for a second white source. I don't think it really matters. They take my force, so they know I have consign up. So they just have to build a pile with a Duress, and then they can win. Yeah, that sucks. I screwed this up. Oh, flow state. That actually works because they have the Duress. Well, I'll see what I draw. I might be able to get into the riddle zone. I'm going to go ahead and try to find a brainstorm here. Or a force. I'm going to shuffle these. Flow state does work. But if I flow state, yeah, I think I have to flow state here instead of riddle. I'll play this out. Shocked. I'm going to go ahead and flow state. They may force this. Force negation and Tamiyo. Love it. I'll just hold both of these. I'm not going to tap out because of days. And now I have consign up if they try to go for like a win in a single turn cycle. They may be able to find another flow state and just continue to pad their hand. I think we warp. They are fetching. I think they may actually have Bowmasters here. Oh, they're just hard casting the force. At this point, I think I do play a Tamiyo. So I can continue to creep forward advantage-wise. Flow state. I feel like countering this, but I think I'm supposed to let it go. I've got my card draw engine. This is really tough, by the way. This deck, this is the best Doomsday's been in a long time. And of course, they have a second flow. So they are effectively kind of like drawing. They're going up 2 cards. They've got a 7-card hand. That's crazy. All right. Hopefully they don't have an answer for my Tamiyo. I'm not going to try to flip her, but maybe I should. I think okay. And I did have Felia. That's the other card that I forgot. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. I wouldn't mind making a land drop. Yeah, I don't need the second Felia or this land. I'll just take this Vista, and then I can shuffle. Pretty sure I haven't made a land drop. Did I make a land drop? Okay, I haven't. Now I have Hardcast, Force Negation. I have Felia around. Yeah. I have Felia around days. I think I have to pitch cast Force Negation, though, if they go for the Doomsday here. Thoughtseize. I think I go ahead and play the Felia. No. Does Felia even do anything? I don't think she does enough. I'm just going to let them do this. They'll probably take the Force Negation. Then I still have Brainstorm to potentially find an answer. They took my Force. They have the Doomsday. All right, so let's go ahead and shuffle first. Again, like this, because they've seen it, this is worthless. The consign is a pitch to Force. There's no way that they will actually like leave me with like meaningful interaction. I guess they could Thoughtseize it, but they have to win the same turn because they can regrow it. But I still think it's extremely unlikely that it saves me. Okay, this sucks. I'm going to shuffle these away. Next turn, I can Teferi in case they're trying to beat consign on the stack, but I can't imagine them trying to do that. I'll do that. Okay, so they're going to build their pile. I'm going to try to Felia. It's not going to work because they'll likely have a daze at this point. They rarely board out their dazes. I think I've played poorly. I don't think there's anything wrong with my deck or this matchup. They were able to flow state 3 times, which is substantial. And they might even flow state again. Okay, they're building a very quick pile here. Thoughtseize. Well, unfortunately, I am going to play this out because this is not known. I don't believe... No, wait. They knew about it. Yeah, they'll probably just daze it. They force it. Okay. So now they're going to take my consign, leaving me with nothing but Teferi. And then if they have another Thoughtseize in the pile, they can get the consign. I'm going to regrow the consign, but that doesn't necessarily save me. I don't think they're going to win now. Maybe they can win now with a LED. Okay, I don't think they can win with a Ponder. Okay. So I'll play this out. I'm going to go ahead and Teferi first. I'm going to minus target nothing. Wait, I need to fetch. Because I know I have a land on top of my deck. So we will grab another island. I can regrow the consign. Yeah, if I draw exactly Force of Negation and have consign, I might be able to overpower them. Let's see what I draw. Okay. Okay, that might actually do it. We'll see. Regrow consign. And now we simply force the Thoughtseize and consign their win con. I should technically keep the island untapped. They have this Inquisition of Kozilek. And did we win? If they have a daze or anything, we don't win. Okay, we're getting another turn. So they may have put like a pile of multiple discard spells. Well, that is freaking clutch. Holy cow, that's good. They can't force our force back. That was an insane sequence. All right, and so they're going to try to go for it, but like, unless they have 2, you know what? I just regrow the other. No, wait, I don't have a second one. I flow state. Let's think about it, how I can screw this up. No, I can always just get a blue card. I am going to flow state. Another flow state and a blue card. Okay. Now I'll just flow state again, and I almost certainly will hit a... okay, this is fine. This Felia can finish them off, but like I don't really need it. I'm going to go ahead and minus here, and I'm just going to grab another Force of Will. Now I've got double Force and consign. I don't think they're going to win now. And I have Felia killing them in 2 turns, which their deck will kill them first. You are welcome to attempt that, but I will be stopping the counter, the trigger. And I'm so confident that I'm going to... No, they may have like Stifle Bird or something. I should replicate this. Stifle Bird. I'm thinking of like, what could they possibly have that beats Teferi? Okay, they're playing it out to the bitter end. Would you like to draw a card from your deck? Oh, they have a second one. Well, I'm going to force this with one of my weird grayed out forces here. Do you have a third one? Good games. Holy cow, I needed all that. Well, I didn't need all of it. I actually won probably a pretty... Like, if you have a force blue card in your hand, you win by a pretty good margin there. Wow. All right, there will be a game 3. So I didn't take a look at their pile because I'm a dum-dum. I should have absolutely looked at their pile. I was just so like, I'm so screwed. Like, they're about to win. Like, there's no excuse. I needed to look at their sideboard strategy, but I'm pretty sure their sideboard strategy didn't involve creatures. So I think we just run it back. And yeah, consign was actually clutch there. I was knocking it. Maybe I should play it more. But it was like a very weird kind of corner case where it was good. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't try to steal its glory there. It definitely carried me there. I wouldn't have won that one without it. All right, this is a snap keep. We are going to back to basics them. That is a win con against their deck. They only have like maybe 2. Well, snap keep. Inquisition. Can't take my force. You got it. They actually have a basic, so back to basics might be the pitch to force later. They might actually take Tamio. Yeah, they do. Because she's like that tells me they're not ready to party yet. Flow state. Love it. Well, I will lead with this so I can fetch Surveil. We're just going to safely fetch Surveil after all the fireworks from their turn have finished. Dark Ritual. Okay, so they have a Veil, unfortunately. I will pitch the back to basics. The game is not going to go long enough for it to matter. No Veil. Okay, well, that's very good for me. Surveil. I didn't imagine they'd have Veil. I haven't seen any green, but like, I don't know why they would do that into a known force unless they just add another one. This is the archive. I always mix it up with the Hollow Fountain. And I do want my Surveil. This is not what we're looking for. So we don't have a card in the graveyard that we can use here. I'm just going to go ahead and brainstorm because I need to find stack interaction or something. Another flow state doesn't do it, but it is arguably better than... Is it? I don't think it is. I don't think I need the second flow state. I will shuffle it away. I'll stick a Tomio, and I'll hope that Tomio momentum... Like, I don't think they win this turn from 3 cards and 2 mana. And if they daze this, it's a bummer. But I need to be aggressive here. Because they... Like, I need to set up and get some sort of card draw engine going. Because they're going to start flow stating soon. They might flow state right now. They do. Unfortunate. Like, I can't stand this card, but I feel like you can't win without it, frankly. And just like that, like, they don't even need a Tomio. They're getting card advantage. Come on, force. I've got 8. Well, I think I may have to do a sad value flow state here. I think I'll give it a turn because I can just hold it with the clue. If I find a Ponder or a Lorien, then we're in the zone and we can flow state hard. Harder than a medical student abusing Adderall. And by the way, do go to medical school because we need more doctors, but don't abuse Adderall. That was just... I was trying to say, like, you know, flow state. Like, you get in the zone. Anyway, I can fetch the shock out of my deck, I guess, and just preserve some life. So they have Doomsday mana on the table if they go for it right now. I'm totally cooked. They already know about the consign. So I do think that I go ahead and try to rip here. So let's fetch. Just going to minimize possibility. Actually, you know what? I should have sequenced differently because I could have put something on top of my deck there. That was a punt. All right, so we are going to go ahead and see what we find off this. If it's a force, it is not a force. So this is sadly going to resolve, and they just need to put like a spell in their pile. But I do get to Lorien Revealed, flow state for 2, but I have this dead card, which I might be able to like brainstorm away. I don't think I did anything wrong this game. Other than, like I said, I could have put like something on top. Actually, you know what? That might have been the critical thing. No. But then they'll see it. Because I could go get the thing and put one of these spells on top. They may not have packed 2 discard spells, but they may have packed both their Tomios. If I found a back to basics, that actually might be okay here. I do think I'm supposed to get the Mystic Sanctuary. Sorry if I'm not articulating my thoughts very well. And then depending on what I draw here, it's almost good. It's almost good, but they're going to, like, I need to find... Yeah, I'm going to see what I find here first before I do anything else. If they even let me find. I mean, these are good cards. We don't need Felia. The game just won't go that long. Okay, so let's think about this. We have... Consign with Replicate. We Mystic Sanctuary. We can put something... We could let them take our Consign and then we could put it on top. But that assumes that they're not going to just win. Oh. I can put a second force on top and then I can crack the clue to get to it. If they... Yeah, and then I have double force. Yeah, I think that's the way. Actually, I should have looked at their pile here. I'm so bad about this because it's such a pain in the butt. They don't let you sort it. Before I look at that, let me go ahead. Since I've already started it, I don't want to screw up the clicks here. So you have to click like confirm, even though you just clicked it. I'm like, of course, yes, I do want. Okay, so let's attack. And then what I'll do is I'll pass the turn and I'll look at their pile. Because I've already made all the key decisions as to what I'm going to do. Well, if they didn't put the thing in the side, if they don't have caverns in for some crazy reason. They don't have caverns in for some crazy reason. How many? So 1, 2 Duras. I don't see any Thoughtseize. No, wait. 1, 2, 3. So they have a Thoughtseize. I feel confident about that. They may have an Inquisition of Kozilek. I didn't check. Like when they're making the pile, sometimes you can see them grab it. They don't have their Cyclers. I think they're going to try to do a multi... No, wait. They don't have this Cycler, but they have the other ones. They might also try to do a Jace pile to beat Consign, but that's not going to work out for them. I didn't see Jace, but I didn't check. Okay, so this is all my own damn fault. But I saw the LED was in there. Let's count their forces. I'm pretty sure they would have forced by now. They would have forced that flow state. But I'm just going to count. So we've got 7 minutes. We've got plenty of time to resolve this game. Force. negation, force negation, 2 force negation, so it's unlikely they have a third. And then I see 1, 2. I only see 2 forces, so it's possible their hand is force. And if they have a second dude in, it's, yeah. So I already drew a card. No, I didn't draw a card. Did I? No, I haven't drawn a card yet. Or I drew 1 card. I can't flip. I'm just going to go to their turn. And I have 2 potential forces. I think they probably Thoughtseize me here. Okay, they're just passing. Yeah, I think they're going to try to... Okay, they're pondering. That's fine. I will allow it. I think they're going to try to double hit me. And what I might be able to do is find back to basics. So they can't even cast one of them. Unless they have the basic island in their deck. Let's check. They saw the back... No, they've got 2 islands in exile here. Okay, so they have double cavern. Because there's a cavern in exile. So they have a double cavern build. Like, I've never seen Doomsday with 2 caverns. It's crazy. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll draw our force. So we have to find another consign. Another Tamio doesn't really help us. So if we think about it, we ponder, that sees 4 cards. We flip Tamio, we could regrow. So if they do it 2 turns in a row, which I think they're going to have to unless they have a 4th blue source. Or let's count the petals. I don't see any petals. I think they're maybe petalless. I see an LED. I doubt they filled up their deck with petals, but they could just have a bunch of petals. Usually they play like 3 to 4. All right, so let's go ahead and attack. If they do actually have double force, then Teferi gets one of the forces out of their hand. But then I don't have as much mana to replicate on the ability. If they have a Teferi, I actually fight to get Teferi in. This is such an intricate game. Like, what a way to open a league. I'm probably going to lose, but let's see what we can do here. So I am going to fetch first, just to slightly thin my deck before I attempt to Teferi here. I'm looking for back to basics. Actually, if I'm looking for back to basics, I should ponder first, just in case I find it. Do they have daisies in their deck? I don't see a single daze. I don't think they're playing daze. So I can play around. I don't need to play around daze, is what I'm saying. A second consign. I think that might do it. These are nutty freaking cards. Okay. So what we do is I can't actually cast both consigns if I play the Teferi. I think I flip Tamio. I don't need her clues. And then if there's a big fight, I'll be okay. Yeah, I just don't imagine a hand that's going to do better against what they've got over there than this. This has got to be like the best possible to stop them. Inquisition. So I'm going to just go ahead and force that. They are casting a force negation back. I will force that back. They force back. Oh, so I let them take the consign and then I just regrow it. And I've got both consigns up. Okay. So hopefully I draw a blue card. All right. I couldn't remember whether I was going to draw a blue card. My nerves are shot. I'm going to regrow this. I will pass with force, double consign. You have 3 cards total. You're Thoughtseizing me again. I can just force this. And I think I should. That way they can't like do it 2 turns in a row. They have 2 cards total left. That resolves. There's no reason to replicate this, but I will. Just because I'm paranoid about like making some dumb mistake, like how catastrophic would it be to lose at this point after working so hard. We got it. All right, that was brain surgery. Brain surgery freaking legacy. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against a likely aggro player. We have Tamio opening a lot of lands in this hand, but I think it's okay. I'm going to keep it. Tamio plus lands is a winning combination. I might actually protect Tamio if they try to remove it, just because I've got nothing else going on here. Lorien Revealed is not going to be useful when I have this many lands in my hand. It'll take many turns before it's relevant. All right, DRC. Well, that's fine. I'm not going to fight that. Good news is this is an extremely favorable matchup, and we just ripped our Tamio flip, which is very nice. So I think I can brainstorm away these lands here after combat. All right, it just works. Holy cow, that's so good. So we'll definitely put back the Sanctuary and the Hallowed Fountain. These are bad. She flips. I'm going to go ahead and do the Erode just because things are resolving quickly and it's possible they're F6. Yeah, They're F6. That's crazy. All right, well, we're very far ahead now. We can't stop. Like if they have a cutter, it's actually pretty bad here. Because I don't want to force into cutter, but actually it's probably fine to do so because I've got Riddler to reload next turn. Yeah, I think I'll just let this go. I can always just regrow an Erode if I need to. They're pondering. They're getting closer to Delirium. I was hoping they'd play cutter and I'd be able to force it, but this, I don't feel like forcing at this stage. If I just regrow the Erode, they're not going to be able to get another card for that. That does mean that this is dead, but with double DRC, it's probably dead either way. I might be able to find... Yeah, I want to hold off on Riddler just for another turn. If I can find a plow, it's pretty good. I'll be stunned if they force this, but they may. Okay. This is not doing anything new. I'm going to any order shuffle this. Back up Tamio. I could just play her to block. I don't hate that. I Lorien cycle. I get an island. I play out Tamio. I think that's better than minusing and losing my Tamio. If she resolves and she's out there, at least she'll draw like a bolt or something. They're forcing her. Well, at this point, she's probably dead. I think I am going to just get the Erode back, and I can cast it next turn. That means I take 3 and I lose this. Is that acceptable? I think it is. If I plus, she drops a 2. Yeah, I think I just plus and wait another turn. That does mean I won't be able to regrow the Erode. Yeah, I want to do that. If they have a cutter, they could take her out this turn. But debuffing everything is significant. Flow state. I'm going to let these resolve, and then I think I do want to force here. But if I force, I have nothing going on. But I do have the clue. If they have a daze, I mean, surely they would have used daze instead of... But they could have drawn the daze. I'm going to trust in this clue to deliver me. I know it sounds kind of crazy. But if I rip, like... Let's say I rip one of many spells. Like a Lorien Revealed sets up... Oh, man, they may be forcing back here. They don't... Okay. That was dramatic. I definitely didn't want to have to use... There's an argument for me not pondering there, and just in case they played something that... I'm not used to Delver having card advantage that I need to worry about. I still need to get used to that. I mean, I've played the deck that my opponent's playing before myself. That's an unfortunate draw. We're definitely plussing here. I think I want to go ahead and just do this. Draw, see what I find. Oh no, we're going to die. We are going to die. We're flooding. So I can put Lorien Reveal on top of my deck. Then I can cast it next turn. I think that's what I have to do, sadly. And then I'm going to take probably 6 from these, because this will probably be the last turn Tamio's active. And they could flow state again, which would be devastating. Oh, I can't put it on top of my deck because I don't have enough freaking... I'll just surveil. Yeah, this is bad. Now they have cutter, and they probably can trigger it. I think I'm going to lose this game, and I think I threw it away. I think it all came down to the decision to ponder. I don't think it was wrong to force the flow state. Okay, so it's tough to imagine a sequence that gets me out of this. They can hit me for 2. They just brainstormed. They're going to have 2 cards, but they are maybe also going to have some selection here. Tamio will be dead. I'll be taking at least 8 next turn, probably a lot more than that. Losing with my 8 Swords of Plowshares deck on the play is definitely bad vibes. Bad feels. So Tamio goes down. She didn't really generate that much value at all. She wasn't even like a 2-for-1 technically, because I did crack the clue, but there's the archive. I mean, it's tough for me to imagine anything that saves me here other than just Riddler. I don't think this is good enough at this point. I think like a flow state would actually be pretty good. I think flow state into flow state maybe, or flow state into Riddler. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm. Okay, so we have another brainstorm, but I don't have a shuffle effect. So I can brainstorm again. I need to get rid of so many cards here. Let's put these on top. I'm going to brainstorm again. So we know 2 of these 3 cards are duds. There's the flow state. So we put these back. Actually, flow state works. I'll put this back. I don't want it. This is not going to be the card I choose. I don't need a Caracas. It doesn't do anything for me here. Then what I can do is I can play this out. Flow state to clear. It's so cool how this clears your brainstorms. Just like a ponder shuffle, but you still get to get cards out of it. They probably force this if they've been holding a force. But then we can erode one of these. If they force here, they're not going to be able to create extra dudes, so I'll only take 5 next turn. Well, that is a bummer. I'll take the Mystic Sanctuary and the Force Negation. And now I'm just going to main phase this, minimize the... Actually, I should do it during upkeep. No, because if they interact, they may be able to... Yeah, I just need to do it now. All right. That wasn't a bad turn, thanks to Flow State. And next turn, I do have Mystic Sanctuary putting Lorien Revealed on top, but there may not be a turn after that. They do have the Flow State I can't counter. So Flow State plus Quarry Steelcutter is a pretty devastating combo. Only thing going for me is that I'm at 16 life. Okay, that's really bad, because that's like so much more pressure. I am looking forward to bringing Wrath of the Skies into the deck. So we're taking 7 here, down to 9. We're not going to get another turn after this. We have to win this turn. So Lorien Revealed doesn't really matter at this point. It would have been slow anyway, because we would have tapped all our mana. They could have Stack Interaction in their hand too. So this hits one of these. It does technically give me a turn. I think at this point I have to put the Flow State on top. Let's do that. In Flow State we trust. And I'm doing this instead of Lorien because I need to actually have mana to do stuff. And Lorien just uses up all my mana. Go ahead and take that out. Again, I have no expectation that we're going to survive another turn. But I do technically have a... Like if they cast a cantrip, I can stop it. Okay, that's not a spell. Another Quarry Steelcutter. Well, that's pretty devastating. I might actually just be dead now. I'll let that resolve first. At least this is a spell I can counter and not like a Murktide. That's death. Good game. Again, I think it all came down to me not being able to riddle and me just hitting so many lands. And I think the key mistake that I made was the Ponder. I should have just held it. So let's bring in the Hydros. Rip is very good here. Wrath is quite good because they go pretty horizontal. Cards that come out, Force of Negation for sure. You can take out Flow State when you're bringing in Rip, but it's not that bad. Like, we can still pitch it to Force. It's such a broken card. I mean, again, like, people may be like, what's the big deal? It's going to be proven to not be that powerful, right? No, like, everybody I talk to that, like, plays a lot of Legacy knows that this is basically strictly better, almost completely strictly better expressive iteration. It is born to be banned. Basically, this will be banned. I don't like Felia in this matchup, sadly. She just, like, she seems like she'd do a lot, but she dies really easily. This matchup is all about us stabilizing and then just getting our Quantum Riddlers on the table. All Felia does is help us get an early Riddler, and frankly, I'm not even that interested in an early Riddler. It is a good blocker, though. But, like, she can kill those tokens. I just don't think it's where we want to be, frankly. I think I'm just going to cut her completely. I know that leaves us, like, there's always the risk that they, like, surgical our Riddler or something like that. Like, that'd be crazy. I guess that won't really be a risk once Rest in Peace is in play. Yeah, let's try this. Against Delver, I just go full defense. Never underestimate Blue-Red Delver. It's just, like, insanely... it has so much reach. Okay, this is a great hand. We just need to ponder and hit a land. As long as we hit a land, we'll be fine. And we've got lots of attempts at that. So once we resolve the Rest in Peace, not only does it stop their win cons. Wow, we hit 3 lands. That's great. So I don't want the Archive, but I do want these other 2 lands. So what I'll probably do is just to play around days, I'll wait yet an extra turn to Rip. All right, and that's just going to be a 1/1 once Rip resolves. I just need to make sure that Rip resolves. I actually think it's totally fine to ponder twice here and just find the cards I need like that. Definitely want that. And then do I want a 4th land? Probably. Let's go ahead and I'm just getting these out of my hand. I still have the Brainstorm, which is, are they thinking about dazing this? Please daze this. Oh my goodness, that's so good for me. They are going to get early Delirium, but like, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. I guess I'm not using this Force on anything but ensuring Rip resolves. Here they ponder. They will get probably an attack where they get to do 3 damage to me. No, maybe not. Put a ponder in the bin. I'm hoping that they're trying to ramp toward like a really quick Merc or something like that. Oh wow, they just don't have land? No wait, they bounce their land, that's why. Okay. Alright, so I already know that I'm drawing a land, so this is fine. I should have technically played the Prismatic Vista out first, it's more limited in what it can get. Alright, now we force, and if they are able to double force we have a real problem. But they shouldn't be able to like daze me here. That's great. Forever a 1/1. They do have Brazen Borrower, but even if they Brazen Borrow it, like I can just recast it. So I consider this game to be like advantage bar very squarely in our corner. I'll be shocked and numb if I lose this game from here. I will force Cutter. I think that's the only real relevant card left in their deck. But they could still like burn us out and stuff. Like, again, never discount their capabilities, their reach. All right, Brainstorm's good. Let's go ahead and Brainstorm. All right. I like Tamio a lot. I don't think we need the second force. I don't think we need the fifth land. I can play it and surveil. Now this blocks here and I don't even need to plow this. But then, like, what am I going to plow if I'm not going to plow that? Murktide shouldn't manifest itself. If they clear this, I probably will plow this. I think that might be what they're doing here. I'm not going to force to protect Tamio, I don't think. Should I? As a general rule, well, I can just Brainstorm and protect her. So that has to be forced. I'll let them get their surveil first. Unfortunately, yeah, this is important enough to force. And then I just hope they don't have a bolt for this. If they force back, okay. They do have the bolt. Well, that sucks. Okay. And they are getting to surveil and like set up their next few draws, even if they're not actually doing like getting Delirium. This is a useful game piece. I actually do think I plow here. I think it's totally reasonable to plow here. Okay, and now I've got the surveil. I don't really care about my lands if they want to waste me and stuff. I've got plenty. I just don't want to brick. There we go. That is staying right on the tippy top. There we go. Love it. Please do not have Pyro, but you're tapped out. I will keep... Yeah, I'll do this. And then if I find a Ponder, I can get 2 more cards. They don't force. So we're doing so well here. Check this out. Ever see somebody draw 3 cards? Am I greedy? Yes, I am. Please don't have the daze. You're on the draw. You shouldn't have daze in your deck. You already dazed me. Oh no, they had a daze. Okay, well, it is going to be a few turns before I have that back online. I could have totally waited. Yeah. I feel like an idiot, basically. All right, as long as they don't have the other Cutter, I will be okay. But that's the big risk here is them finding Cutter. They may have some sideboard tech. Yeah, there's the Cutter. Okay, but that is their second spell for turn. I just need to find a land and then I can slam this guy. Second rip. I don't think there's any reason to play it. Unfortunately, I just had to sit still. Oh, Flow State is just a 1-drop, but it is a spell for the Cutter. And they can just chain cantrips. They've got 12 cantrips in their deck, so I expect another cantrip. They do have another cantrip. All right. I think I take this first hit and I hold my plow. You know what? I'm not going to hold my plow. Here's why. This is going to do me 2 damage now, but it's going to do me 2 damage every turn. And the second I get this online, I mean, they may be holding a daze for it, but I want to use it. So that was a negative trade, like card negative. Hydroblast. Let's just do this now. I'm not going to risk them drawing a force. All right, we'll pass. So they have, I think, 4 of those. So they will likely find another before too long. And they found another. But keep in mind that it would have been so much worse. And then they have the DRC. So we're going to take 2 here. Man, I'm so disappointed that I freaking played in the days like that. Like I was just so greedy. You wanted to see me draw 3 cards. That's what happens when you have 1 card in your hand. You get to draw 3 cards. It's insane. And now if they find a Wasteland, it's actually really bad. All right. I'm going to attempt this. Please let it resolve, but I know it won't. What? Well, that is pretty good. Now we got a big wall. They probably have Pyroblast for it. Flow State, triggering their stuff. They could also like bolt to finish it off. But sadly, I think I probably have to block anyway. Because I'm getting very low in life. I've already gotten lots of cards from this. But yeah, Pyro. Okay, so gosh, we're taking a lot of damage here. I have to kill that Corey for sure. Taking, 6. Dropping a 5. I'm going to lose this game. Holy cow. I know my deck can beat this deck. I know it. All right, so I think we Flow State first. I'm going to Flow State first. I'm going to keep extra blue up because I'll likely just fetch white here. Flow State. We only get 1. Wrath does it. Okay. If this Wrath for 2 can resolve, we win. If not, we're dead. It's as simple as that. I suspect they don't have interaction because they didn't interact with me casting the guy last turn. I will lose my, I'll lose this rest in peace. And they will fill up their yard. Come on, please let it resolve. Okay, great. So now, thankfully, everything died and rest in peace stopped it from going to the yard. They should waste me. They may wait till my upkeep for some reason. But it's actually correct to waste me now. Because, I'm just gonna, I do have the option of waiting a turn to replay it. And then, I could put that on top of my deck. I think that's cute, though. I think it's best to just play this back out. And I should have tapped my Meticulous Archive because they might be able to get me into a situation where, But all the relevant threats are red. So these Hydroblasts are answers for 2 of their coming Quarry Steelcutters. How many threats do they even have? There's a Bauble. So they've used 1, 2 DRCs and 3 Cutters. So they only have a Cutter and a DRC left to win, but they can bolt me out. So I will actually am going to Hydro that, as sucky as it is. I don't want to get really low in life and not be able to fetch or force. That's fine. So we are back into Dazeable territory, unfortunately. And I don't really want to fetch if I draw a fetch. Caracas is fine. I'll play that out. And that is our 6th land so that we can cast the big guy when he arrives. And I will be warping him in first. So how many Pyros have they used? 1? Just 1. So I imagine they have 3 more. I am going to actually wait a turn cycle. Am I? No, if I find the big guy, I want to use him. I don't find the big guy. I find a bunch of stuff that I need to shuffle away, unfortunately. This is a hard cast force, though. So I could attempt, if it's a non-critical spell, I could attempt to force it. Hard casting the force. Man, this is going to be a long game. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't want to fetch down to 4. I don't think that's correct. I think I just need to stay at 4 for the rest of the game. Fetch down to 3 and get bolted out, that would suck. They fetch. They do have a Surveil. That's what they're doing. They've still got 4 cards in their hand. I'm not sure what they are. They might be... But if they were a Pyroblast, they probably would have Pyroed back. All right, I'm just going to pass. I have both Force and Hydro to stop a Pyro. I'm going to attempt to force this. It's one of their few remaining win cons. They could, in theory, hold their Wastelands and get up to a Murktide, but I think it's already too late. No, they could, if they do exactly that. There's no point in playing this out. I'm actually going to hold it for future Brainstorms. Brainstorm's fine. I could have forced there, but they only have a few cards that they're looking for. I don't know. Maybe I should have done that because that may be an Ancestral Recall type effect if they have a Surveil. Boomerang Basics on that. Yeah, that's fine. They're just basically trading a card for the same, another card. Drawing through the Brainstorm. Okay. There's the Wasteland. They're doing that again. That's fine. This game is going to be so long that it may start to be correct, or clock might be an issue if we get a game 3. I felt very confident earlier, but I'm not very confident anymore. Come on, good card. Erode is a great card. I'm just going to let the cantrips resolve. I just need to counter the remaining Quarry Steelcutter, and I think that's that. Brainstorm is fine. They're down to 17 cards. They might deck themselves. Okay, they're back up to 19 because, yeah. I don't know if there's even a land they could fetch there. That's 6. They're very close to Merc. But I just have Erode for Merc, so it's not a big deal. All right, Riddler. Let's try it. And I will Hydroblast the Pyroblast because it's worth it to not lose this. This is my ticket to victory. Do you have another Pyro? They've been sculpting. I wouldn't be surprised if they had another Pyro. They have a Force. Okay, that works. I've lost my win con. I am now shields down if they bolt me, and then I'll need to stop 1 more bolt. That's 6 lands. They just need 1 more land and they can Merc. Full state. And to confirm, I should still have 1 Riddler left in my deck to win. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I only have one Riddler left, but I have the win of decking them if they run out of win cons. They grab their island. All right, I now have double Erode. Again, the main thing that kills me is Cutter. I just have to stop Cutter. Because Cutter can represent multiple threats. So I am actually just going to Erode this. I'm not going to force it. Lorien Revealed. It's tempting to cast that. Wait, why didn't it work? Oh, I need to cast 1 more. Okay. And now we're in a good position. We have force if we absolutely need it. Here, if they play the cutter, I will have to force, unfortunately. I can always plow my Riddler, but then I can't win through combat. But you just pass the turn. See, they've used 3 of their lightning bolts. They could have 1 more. I'm at 1. I'll be at 1 for the rest of the game. I now have 2 cards that I need to stop. Okay, another Erode. Let's do it like this. If they have the Pyro, that completely shuts off my angle of winning through cards. Okay, now I need to go find a Pyroblast. I'm going to use the Ponder here. There's the Plow. I actually need the Plow in hand just in case they go for my life total, and I can't stop it. And I will pass. This will warp out, and I'll just play it later. I'm playing super careful because they've just got like 2 more cards that I have to stop. Actually, you know what? I could just completely commit to stopping them. I think I commit to to stopping them. I'm not going to have a win con. Okay, they daze just to get back a card. I'll pay. Okay, wow, they scooped. That's crazy. They didn't know that was our last win con. Okay, so on the draw, I don't think we changed anything. Back to basics would have been good there, but they have Pyroblast. I don't like it against this deck because of Pyroblast. Oh, man, that was a rush. Even if we lose, I'm proud of that game. It's rare that you actually run your opponent out of cards completely. I'm going to stand by my Felier is not good enough here. Yeah, we're going full control. We've got like 7 minutes or something to win. It's not a lot of time. Yeah, I'm going to just run it back. Now we're on the draw, so it's extra hard. I do believe this is a good matchup. I believe this is like a maybe 55-45 matchup, but it requires extremely tight play on our part. Normally, I'd say the tempo job is harder than the control job, but I think in this case, the control job is harder because they just attack you from so many angles. This is a keep. 7 minutes. I'm going to be playing very expeditiously. They mulled a 5. Okay. It doesn't really matter. They're going to see the cards eventually with flow state. I have to find my... they may be just living in fear of rest in peace, which soloed them, basically. That was the reason we had any chance there. I'm going to play this out, and that way I can force a thing and just pay for it. A Corey Steel Cutter. I have to force Corey Steel Cutter. That's how I'm going to lose. They've been a Wasteland, which is a good bin. Is this Corey? Corey Bobble? No thanks. I'll put back I'll pitch a Ponder because I might need to brainstorm away some lands later. And we were able to daze protect that. All right, draw more lands. I think it's fine to keep up the in-step brainstorm just in case we need to dramatically change the texture of our hand. So they did have the Bobble and we would have been completely cooked there. Boomerang Basics on it, that's fine. Interesting they're playing Boomerang Basics without the Otters. Like the Otters are the reason you play Boomerang Basics. I don't think that this is playable without the Otters. And I do believe in the Otters. I know that everybody's moving away from the Otters. I think Otters are better than Corey because they come down earlier and they are more flexible. I am going to go ahead and brainstorm here. They're looking at our top. I'm trying to find like an early... These are so sick. Yes. We can ponder and then we can set up... Yeah, I'll actually draw these cards. I don't need to draw both of them. Yeah. So I'm going to start by pondering here. And then I can just keep the best card and shuffle the rest. I actually think Force is the keep here, just in case they have a second one. And then I could draw the Tomio next turn. I could try to get Tomio online, but I think it's nice to... I mean, if I absolutely have to stop something, I can do it. I've got 6 minutes. I do need to make something happen here. So this is a flow state that has instant and sorcery. I think I'm going to stop it. And I'll pitch my own flow state. Maybe that's a mistake. I'm getting my hand lower, which next turn I Tomio, play a land, and the subsequent turn I can flip Tomio with Riddler. So they're going to see the Tomio here. Land drop. Tomio. I could just flip her now. They force her. Okay, well, I'm going to go for a Plains, and then I will attempt to cast a Riddler and get up a card. This is a good opportunity to do this where they can't pyro me. I get 2 cards. They're a freaking flow state. We're doing great. So we just need to find a few lands. So I'll be fetching basics because I do want to arrive at Riddler. They've already been one of their Wastelands, but there are 3 more in their deck most likely. Time is an illusion. I've got plenty of time. I'm not going to play into days here. I'll take an organic draw, and then I'm just going to start flow stating. And as soon as I find rip, I'm going to resolve it. Because I am a little bit scared of Merc plus force. I don't know that I need to be. All right, that's a good draw. Play it out. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, I'll take a force and a Tomio. I will play a second flow state here. I'll take a land and an Erode. These are great. I have a land drop lined up for next turn. I can potentially force a Riddler through. They fetch. I know they're probably looking at my clock at this point because game 2 was so ridiculously long. Corey, let's not. Do you have the pyro? They don't have the pyro. Okay, cool. They scooped. We got it. 2-0. That was a freaking insane game. Great games. All right, round 3. We're up against a possible sneak and show opponent. I think this hand is fine because Brainstorm fixes it. Caracas might be relevant against them. This is just a good all-around hand. It is land heavy. I am strongly considering going down to 18 land and just playing more Alorian reveals. Like maybe playing 4 of them. They're so good at turning on flow state. It's a sweet looking island, by the way. I don't even know what set symbol that is. Wait, is that the owl? Is this the new set? Okay, cool. And then of course the classic Ponder, Mark Teeden. One of my favorite artists. I'd probably say Richard Caden Ferguson and then Mark Teeden. I just love Richard Caden Ferguson. Okay, so here, that is a very unfortunate draw. Got nothing going on. I am going to just Incept Surveil. And try to make sure that we don't hit, land number 6. Okay, we partying? Well, I have to do what I have to do. They force back. This is not going to be a long game. I will put in my Caracas. Let's see what they get. I mean, there's nothing we can do to stop this. Yeah, that was a disappointing opening. They have an Emrakul. They have a sneak attack, but they can just cast sneak attack next turn. It's worth noting that I can stop Emrakul as long as they don't have the ability to recast it. But with sneak attack, they can play it multiple times. I do see a Scalding Tarn here for red. Just good cards all around. They grab Scalding Tarn, Ponder, Sneak Attack, Emrakul, and Brainstorm. Not a bad combination of cards. I do want to bounce this, so they have to at least discard. And I'll have to keep this up for later. So I imagine the Sneak Attack's coming. No idea how I'm going to fight it. We got our Archive going. Caracas is a nice card to have. Okay, so this is not going to be enough, frankly. They have Sneak Attack next turn. What can we even find? I don't know what the answer is, frankly. I think the answer is we go to the next game. We could find like I don't know. Their hand is like ridiculous. And they had other cards in their hand too. They didn't even have to use their whole hand. So what was it again? It was like a Brainstorm, a Ponder, a Sneak Attack. It might have been a Stock Up. Yeah, it chose the Ponder over the Stock Up. So that's their hand right there. Very powerful. And then the card that they discarded was a Brainstorm. Okay. So when you're discarding Brainstorm, that means you're very far ahead. Alorian Reveal doesn't do anything here. So, I can survive. No, because I can survive by bouncing Emrakul to hand and plowing the other guy. I'll just play this and I'll pretend that I have interaction, but I don't. I guess they're going to get to reload their hand. I am going to just concede. I don't want to play anymore. Our odds are like sub 1%, I would say with very high confidence. So Narset doesn't actually do a lot here. It shuts off cantrips, but they don't have like a card draw engine per se. They just win all of a sudden. Hydroblast definitely comes in. Force Negation definitely comes in. Felia Riddler is actually probably like one of our best paths to winning the game. I'm going to take out all the Erodes. They don't generally play Planeswalkers. I can't take out all the Plows. I'm going to take out 3 of them. And then I've still got 4 answers to Hexing Squelcher, or 5 answers to Hexing Squelcher. They are going to have Pyroblast, so Back to Basics is less good. I think Narset might actually be better. Because it's possible that, I think it's just Brainstorm and Ponder are the only cards that this affects. But this does give me card quality. It is a blue card to pitch to force. I don't like Consign in this matchup. Sometimes they will bring in like an artifact card. Could they bring in Teferi? Yeah, I actually think Erode might be better than Plow here. Just because, I don't care about giving them land generally. But if they did bring in, Teferi, it'd be pretty ugly. I don't think they're going to bring in Teferi, though. I don't want to give them a land if I can just give them some life. Okay, and I do think I'm going to bring in Narset. Let's do it. So hands that I'm looking for would be like force heavy hands that are planeswalker heavy. I think this hand is okay. This is, if we draw a land, then we have early Riddler. I'm going to keep on the strength of that. This is not a good matchup. People who tell you that like, oh, control is actually a good matchup, I think they misunderstand the appeal of sneak attack is that it's very good against control decks. It's not great against tempo decks. I think in a previous video I said like, oh, Delver is actually a bad matchup for sneak attack. No, Sneak and Show I think actually is not favored in the Delver matchup, but it is favored against like these dirtily blue kind of Jeskai type decks. Obviously, we're not Jeskai because I'm a no reserve list deck. I'm not going to play a third color in my no reserve list deck. Okay, so this is great. This is exactly what we need. So I'm just going to take the force now, and then I'm ready to fight. I would love to brainstorm away the second Felia, but like I'm not going to complain. So hopefully we don't have to double force fight because then we lose our Riddler. But if we force once and that's that, then this is fine. Magus to the Moon. Well, I actually can't beat that, unfortunately, because I will be able to beat it. Like, is my opponent playing the same? I guess I showed him a bunch of non-basics last time. Yeah, I have to fight this. So I'm going to pitch Flow State. Okay, and now I can fetch and get Felia in. But I will likely have to pitch the Riddler to a force. So I will get a basic island here. I have a land on top of the deck, but I can't wait. Gosh, if only Felia were a blue card. Okay, this is actually a welcome reprieve because it means we're not going to have to force this turn. They've been a Pyro. Well, that is good because that would have taken care of my Riddler, but my Riddler is going to draw 2 cards anyway. So, all right. Land would be welcome. Tomio is fine, but not exactly what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and do this. It's fine because it's a blue card for force. Okay, they didn't fight. Flow State is on. I'm in the zone. So I'll be pitching Tomio rather than Flow State because Flow State pays out the cards pretty much immediately, whereas Tomio takes a few turns. And I've already got a win con on the table. This will win. This combination will win in like 3 turns. Maybe 2 turns if they keep tapping. Oh, that's so good. All right, we got double force, baby. I think we're going to win. Ponder's fine. I'm happy to see them using their mana that way. Again, if they find Squelcher, it is bad. But they would need a lot of mana to play Squelcher and win in the same turn cycle. This is actually a huge problem for us. And unfortunately, I just don't have an answer for it. Now, I'm definitely bringing it back to basics for game 3. Okay, so I can play out a Tomio just to have something to grow the Felia. Huh. Or I could Flow State. I think I Flow State first. Get 2 cards. One of which will hopefully be a land. It is a land, but it's not the land I wanted. That sucks. Hydroblast is actually just what the doctor ordered here. I think I have to take the Sanctuary and just play it out tap so I have more mana next turn. Yeah, this is really unfortunate. I'm just going to attack for 7. It's not worth it getting the extra card here. I just need to get them dead. So hopefully they have like an Omniscience line or something and not just like, show and tell Emrakul, because then I lose everything. I might actually be able to beat Emrakul. Yeah, I can Felia Emrakul out of the way because they're going to have to pay life with Boseiju and they're going to have tap their Ancient Tomb. So it has to be Atraxa exactly. And I can push Atraxa out of the way. They'll get a lot of cards. I'm going to fight that. Oh, wow. Wow, that's huge. Okay. Have our land for turn. I'll just attack them for 7, and they won't be able to use their Ancient Tomb or their Boseiju. I could have played out Tomio to grow it. I don't think it matters. It's better to just have more interaction in hand. Yeah, so even fetching, that turns off force. Boseiju is a scary card. But I think... I'm trying to think of sequences that we can't stop. 3 mana. Yeah, we got it. All right, so let's bring in the back to basics. Obviously, it's going to be good here. Magus of the Moon. Yeah, so I could take out a land here. If I'm going to cut a land, I think it's probably Meticulous Archive. The game's just short, and like this Surveil trigger doesn't really matter, usually. I think I bring in the other back to basics too. Because I might be able to just KO them with a back to basics, given how non-basic heavy their mana base is. Tomio is a blue card, but she's slow. I don't want to go down Plow because we saw they have the Magus as well. It does die to Hydroblast, but again, I'm not playing all 4 Hydroblast. I thought about it for sure. I actually don't think it's wrong to play 4 or 5 Hydroblast in this meta, and I might actually start doing it. because it answers both Squelcher and it answers Cutter and it answers, of course, Blood Moon type effects, which normally don't matter against our deck, but did matter right there. I could take out the Mystic Sanctuary too. I have been in situations where it's just saved me. Do I believe in Narset? I know Teferi is going to be good against it, but I'm not sure about Narset. I think the ability to dig is probably worth it. I'm going to go down to Tamio. Oh, because turn 1 Tamio is so good. She's a broken card. Am I going to trim this? I might just freaking trim this. I mean, it gets locked under Back to Basics. It's bad against their Blood Moon. I think I'm going to trim it, and I'm going to go down to 17 lands. They're not going to interact with our lands. We just need to keep a hand that has lands. We trimmed 1 ETB tap land. I'm not going to need the white mana, probably. It probably won't come up unless I have exactly Felia in hand. I could have trimmed a Felia. We did have a redundant Felia in our hand the entire time. This hand is bonkers good. This is so good because we have Flow State activation. We have Hydroblast to fight. Yeah, this is like the nut draw. Pretty much. I wish this were a Force of Will. All right. Let's see how we can do here. What it do? Hey, what it do? This is, I think it's Ponder to set up Flow State. I'm just going to Tamio. I want to lock in advantage. If they have a slow, dirtly hand, I need Tamio praise on that. I got my island out. I don't really care about, I don't ever need double blue except to play a Quantum Riddler, and I will be able to eventually organically draw one of my 4 remaining islands if I need to actually cast this. So I can, if they play a Mega Saloon, I'll just ignore it, is what I'm saying. Okay. I think here I'm going to need the Hydroblast mana up, and I do need this to grab white. So I'm just going to attack, create my clue, and then I'm going to ponder. They're brainstorming in response, which I will allow. They get a perfect brainstorm here. Again, the main reason I'm pondering now is because I want to be able to Flow State next turn when I have white mana and I still have a Hydroblast up. If they counter this, I'm over the moon because I would love for them to be using their Pyroblasts, which are a scarce, very powerful resource. This is actually fine because I can just Lorien Revealed in the end step and get another island. It's a blue card for force if I don't need it. Yeah, and then this Brainstorm helps me flip. Yeah, I'll do it like that. I don't really care about flipping her. I can just generate tokens, but flipping her is a win con. It's just that defending her against Pyroblast when I also need to have, I just want to get a bunch of 2-for-1s, basically. Because every time they cast a must counter spell, I'm 2-for-1ing myself to stop it. They've been a city. Lotus Petal. This is a lot of mana. Show and tell. All right. So I think the card here is we pitch the Lorien Revealed. And then we Hydra the Pyro. Oh, okay. Well, that works out well. I don't have anything to do with this mana, but it's not that big of a deal. My top card is Ponder. I'll attack first. My hand is perfect just the way it is. I don't want to change it. I just want to add to it with a force effect, which I will hopefully find off of this. Okay, I did not find it. I did find a Riddler, but it's not really what I'm looking for, or a Felia. Yeah, this kind of sucks. I'll take the Prismatic and the Felia. I'm not going to flip her. I'm going to hold up the Pyro or the Hydro. And if they Pyro her, then I can always consider Brainstorming to save her. But I just want to keep the mana flowing, and that's what I'm doing here. Please don't have they have it again. So I Brainstorm. They didn't have the Pyro last turn. There's a decent chance I hit a Force. Worst case scenario, I put a Felia in. I think it's fine. I'm going to try it. I didn't hit. So I definitely don't want either of these, but unfortunately I do have to take one. I'd rather take the Mystic Sanctuary than the second Felia. So she flips. I'm going to put in... Let's put Riddler in. I should put Felia in because she could... I don't have Consign. I just can't stop an Emrakul here. I would have to dig for a Caracas. I'm going to put in the Riddler. At least that gives me a card, but that doesn't mean I'm drawing the dead redundant Felia. I'm trying to think of a reason why Felia would be better. I can't really. They could draw a Pyroblast, and then they could take out my Riddler. But Riddler gives me a card. I won't be able to attack. If I put in Felia, then I do just have the Riddler warp, but they'll gain a bunch of life off blocking Felia. I'm not going to blink Felia herself. I think this is better. So what I'll do is I'll warp next turn. Oh, they have Omni. So we're just dead, I think. Good games. Yeah, well played, opponent. Trophy's dead. My opponent played really well. I don't think I did anything wrong necessarily. Just a tough matchup. Leave comments with timestamps. As always, I welcome your critique. I want to get better. Right, round 4. We're 2-1. We're up against a control gamer. So this will be a control mirror. So the clock is going to be of high importance here. I like this hand a lot. It's got our mana. It doesn't have counter magic, but we won't need it if we're up against control. Counter magic is really just there for, well, like we could use it to stop like a beanstalk or something if they're on beans. But against control, I just like keeping as many cards as possible and assuming the game will go long. Riddler is excellent for refilling after we've dumped all our lands. I'm just going to lead with this Archive. I don't know what I'm up against, but I know I don't want more land. And I dodged the land. So that was a good play. All right. Strand. Flow state. So I don't think our opponent will counter this flow state, and I don't really have anything better to do. I think I just go for it and just get it in my yard. It's a sorcery. We only have 10 sorceries in the deck. If they do counter it, that's great for me. If they don't, it's just an expensive cantrip. All right. This works out great. I'm going to take the Ponder. Lorien Revealed is a little far away. We've already got, yeah, I like the Ponder. That way I can potentially, do 2 things next turn. But I don't like to warp Riddler early because like they could just plow it or lots of things could happen to my dear Riddler that I need to draw me at least 2 cards. Preordain. Okay, so they're fully on the flow over there. This could be the Wizards deck that's playing tons of sorceries and just being a good flow state deck. But they, yeah. I think I'm going to start with the Ponder. All right, this is great. I want the Felia very badly. I'll take the Felia. And she's almost certainly going to get plowed, but it's worth trying. Them plowing Felia means they're not plowing my Riddler. Play this out, and we'll pass to the end step of their turn before we attempt to make a move. This also gives me room to erode/plow if they try to do Tomio shenanigans. Tomio shenanigans. I'm saying everything with the long A. Yeah, they're on the Wizard deck. This is fine. I'll let it resolve. I'm not going to give them the knowledge that Felia's coming, just in case they would choose, because they may look at our deck and think, oh, they're creatures like I am. They took a force. We'll see if they spend that force here, or if they just have the clean plow. All right. Felia's in. Is she dead? Surely she's dead. Yeah, they got the sweet guru lands that you got for helping other people learn Magic the Gathering. That was a really sweet reward they gave out. These are worth like $600 or $700 in paper. I don't know, maybe $1,000 in paper. The price of everything's so inflated right now. Okay, so here, I think it's just go for a Riddler here. Like, I don't want to just wait around and do nothing. Okay, plow number 3. I'm just going to go for another Riddler. I don't really care. Actually, I should remove this. Yeah, that was a bad play, frankly. I'm going to get the Hallowed Fountain out of my deck. I don't think they're playing Daze. I'm not going to compound error. I am going to go ahead and plow. I don't want to erode because they probably have planeswalkers I want to kill here. Okay, and then this blinks out and he'll come back once we get some more mana. Also, I want to show them my non-basics because I want them to think I'm playing a lot of non-basics, so they may be boarding back to basics, but there's no way I'm boarding back to basics against them. If they brainstorm here, it's actually really good because I've got a road. All right. Okay, that's pretty good. I think what I want to do is just, I can empty my hand basically completely, and then I could just riddle. So they're going to brainstorm here, and then I just let that happen, then I erode afterward, and then they probably plow the erode, and then, oh wow, it just worked. That's great. There's nothing I could do now. I could just warp this out. I think I'm actually just going to warp it out and just get 1 card, just to get deeper into my deck. And then once we get a lot of mana, if they back to basics is actually really sad. But I'm going to respect back to basics in a weird way. I'm going to go ahead and get an island here just in case they do back to basics. It is something that decks like theirs often do play. All right. And it'll be interesting to see what they consider like a plowable threat, but they may just not have a plow. I am up. Let's see. I've got 41 cards. They're 45. So I'm actually ahead on cards, which is great. And I'm in the zone for the purpose of flow. That is fine. Now they have no, they already had a sorcery. So they could have flowed before. They're preordaining again. Probably looking for a flow. Next turn, I think I am going to, I could probably Lorien here and just put a flow state on top of my deck with Mystic Sanctuary. But I'll be low enough that like they might force the Riddler out of warp. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, I'm going to flow. Yeah, I think I have to go for it. I just don't get all the cards. I think Lorien Revealed is better at this point than Flow State. I'll see that, and I'm just going to attempt to play one of these, and I think they're probably going to have to force it. I'll be careful to tap all my non-basics, or all my basics that I can. This will most likely get forced, I would imagine, because it's just a lot of cards, and it's also a body they'll have to deal with. They've been holding that force the whole time, very patiently. Like, they didn't protect their Tommy, they didn't do anything. They're a seasoned control gamer. You can kind of tell when you're playing against somebody that they have a lot of reps, and I'm getting that vibe very much from this opponent. And if they force, it's like a 3-for-1 basically, because I got the card when it came through, and now I'm going to get 2 cards out of their hand. It'd be exceptional if they force here, because then they'll need a plan to answer my Quantum Riddler, as well as my Lorien Reveal that's on top of my deck. So they're in a pretty unenviable position here. Also, Riddler is just big enough that it does not die to the wizard spell, Flame of Anor. So that's one thing I'll be looking for, is if they attack with like an otter or something, that they're probably holding Flame of Anor and they're planning to try to kill my Riddler. Okay, they fetch. Fetching again. Teferi would be a beating. That's still something I have to deal with. Okay, this is probably just 4th Aerolingus, which I'll just block. Thundertrap Trainer with Replicate. How does this work? Offspring, when this creature enters. So the Offspring I can't stop. Yeah, they're going to get card advantage here. They get 2 bodies too. It's a really cool play. I love this card, by the way. You'll see me playing it in the future on the channel. I haven't played it a lot, but it's just like the perfect Jeskai card. So the deck that I saw that was playing this was only playing 4 Thundertrap Trainers and 1 Lorien Revealed. That was literally, or 4th Aerolingus. That was literally their only WinCon package. I don't really want to erode knowing that there could be a Tomio there. This counts as a wizard too, so I'm not going to clear both of them. So they'll get their double mode if they do it. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and come across here, and then I'm just going to play the other Riddler, and they may be able to wrath the board, but so be it. Actually, maybe I should go ahead and Lorien. They said, let me guess, no reserve list. I only respond with the happy eyes, because this is indeed a no reserve list deck. Why else would I play Hallowed Fountain? I mean, it's practically as expensive on MTGO as a Tundra, but in paper, the difference is, I don't know, 50-fold. Yeah, I think let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. They can't wrath these away without another land drop, and that would wrath their stuff too. And I'm going to get a card anyway. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And then I'm still holding up, like if they do try to 4th Aerolingus me next turn. I mean, like at this point, they probably need to start forcing stuff, because I've just gotten so deep into my deck. I mean, they're practically caught up with me actually. But I've got Lorien Revealed next turn, and they know it. They are forcing here. Pitching a Flame of Anor. All right. I will pass. I have to hope that they don't have double force and they're not protecting a Lorien Revealed or a 4th Aerolingus, because I'll take a lot of damage from a 4th Aerolingus. Brainstorm. Their deck, if it's like the deck that I played, that I'm considering playing, the only duels in it are 1 Volk and 1 Trop, or 1 Tundra. So it's practically no reserve list. But the other big card, other than the duels, that really needs to be taken off the reserve list is Null Rod. There's simply no good replacement for it. I'm going to try this. No, I'm going to let them have 2 cards, and I'm going to Lorien Revealed next turn. They can choose their 2 best cards. I mean, this is definitely like advantageous for them. I think they're favored from here, but I do have no, if I had forced, then I would have had this on. We'll see. If they try to remove this, I will force it. Like if they find a plow, I will force it because I want to draw 2 cards off of this. But I should have forced the flow state. I punted there, in my humble opinion. They're not going to have main deck. Like I could pay for, Spell Pierce if that's what they're playing. I can't stop a Force Negation if they could potentially have hardcast Force Negation. But now they're going to get an extra card because I'm going to have to force a removal spell. Okay, they're just opting to attack with 1. I'm not sure the rationale here. Like they want to have something to block. I've already got my Meticulous Archive. There's no reason to fetch. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and play this out, and then I can Lorien Revealed and defend. And if I defend successfully, I'll get an extra card off Riddler. So let's go ahead and do that. I should get a second Plains here. And they're going to want to force back if they can. They are. Okay. So unfortunately, I'm just going to hit them for 4 in the air. am I dead to Lauren Revealed? They have a total of 6 mana here. I'm not dead to Fourth Era Lingus. I keep confusing the two. They're both from the same set, the Lord of the Rings. So I think I can survive. I'll be very low in life, but I think I can survive. Another flow state. They are doing great over there. I'm nearly hellbent, but that's actually a good thing if they can't clear my Riddler, but they're about to clear it. And then the game will be over. I just, like, their deck is actually more controlling than mine, which is hard to believe that you can be more controlling than mine, but I think they are. And this might be flow state number 3. And then we're going to have to deal with Pyroblast. Yeah, this is a terrible matchup for us because Pyroblast is like secretly the best card in Legacy right now because it answers like Riddler, it answers Merc, it answers so many things. Yeah, that's gone. So now I'm drawing 1 card. My hand is garbage. They are attacking for 2 here. They got to get the game over at some point. Our clocks are relatively even. This is going to be a slog. But I don't actually have any tools that are particularly relevant against them because I just hope to outplay them. But if they're a strong player, this is probably like a 55, 60%. They probably are like a 60-40 matchup against me. So I will have to significantly outplay them is what I'm saying. Another Thunder Trap, but at least they didn't wait around to replicate it. But this is card advantage. And this is additional pressure. Trying to think of what I could even draw off the top. Obviously, they have force now. So it doesn't really matter what I draw off the top. Let's ponder. I'll take the flow state, but it's going to get forced. And then if it doesn't get forced through some Christmas miracle, I'll attempt to resolve my Felia. I'm just going to scoop if they force here. Yeah, good game. It may seem premature, but I've got 2 Felias on top of the deck, and there's just no way they're going to do the job. That felt painful. Like, I don't know exactly where it fell apart. I did go from feeling pretty advantaged to being disadvantaged. Okay, I said I didn't have any strong cards against them, but I do have Narset, and she's very strong against them. I think the Hydroblast come in, and maybe the Force Negations. I'm going to take out all the plows. I'll keep this, even though it's weaker against them because they have tons of basic lands. This, like, removing flipped Tamio is a high priority. Getting an early Riddler is good. I don't know. We didn't see a Braid. Or Erode, rather. They're very similar. Erode is, my pick of the second best card in the set behind Flow State. And I think people haven't realized how good it is, but on the MTGO, it's now $30, which gives you an idea of how good it is in Modern. Because I think most people play Modern and not Legacy. Any other substitution? Maybe we don't need all these force negations, but like hardcasting a force negation, this is still like a force effect, and almost everything in their deck is a creature or a non-creature. It may be overboard. I think this is like just straight up like combo. Yeah, I'm not going to bring in those forces because I don't really have anything to cut. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to cut freaking land. They're not going after my land. They'd be crazy to bring in back to basics. If it's in their deck, they're almost certainly siding it out. Yeah, I'll do it like that. I'll just cut I'll cut a plains. I don't have double white. Yeah, I'm just going to get a plains. Now, mana is important to control decks like ours, but we'll find our mana. Well, the main thing is we don't want to draw too much mana, which we did that previous game. Like, I think we drew a ton of lands early on in the game, and that was one of the reasons we lost. Unless I'm confusing it with the previous game. I think there was a game maybe a few minutes ago where I drew like 6 lands or something. All right, so the card I'm looking for by far is Narset. That's the best card in my deck. This is a great hand. So one of the best things you can do against them is just make them have it early on. Make them have the interaction. I'll happily pitch a Force or a Lorien Revealed when my hand is basically just land already, and this is very far off, to protect my Tamio, because she is going to create some clues and she's going to get me out of here. I don't think they're bringing in Wrath here. I think it'd be a mistake to bring in Wrath against my deck. I'm so permanent light. That's a great freaking rip. That'll come in the end step. They could have like destroy all creatures, but like again, I think they probably are experienced enough to recognize that like that's not what this is going to be about. It's going to be about the battle for card advantage, getting 2-for-1s. That's what control and control is usually about. I do have a go fast button. They don't. Thundertrap Trainer is fine. I'm going to actually do the Felia after this. They take a force. All right. Well, I'm still going to do my Felia. And if they want to force and 2-for-1 themselves, that's okay. But if they don't do it for some reason, then I've got an engine. Yeah, this is great. That's so sick. Holy cow. What a freaking draw. Well, I'm going to do it. I'm sure they're going to force it. They would be crazy not to. They do. Okay. We got a preordain out of their hand. And then Felia just aims her Exile Beam over at the Tamio. So we get a clue, and we also get to grow our Felia and continue our march. If they attempt to stick like a mountain and then do the thing to like blow up a clue and blow up one of our creatures, Hydro. Preordain's fine. They still have a lot of cards in hand, but that's because they got they were on the draw. They haven't gotten any 2-for-1. In fact, we've gotten a 2-for-1. But no, wait, they did get a 2-for-1 since that we forced their plow. But we have a lot of additional virtual cards that we will almost certainly draw if they don't wrath us. If they wrath us, we do lose the clues. And if this were a PBS TV show, we'd lose the blues clues. I kind of botched the delivery there. All right. So is that no land drop? I'm here for that. Oh my goodness. Just give my opponent a chance. Give him a chance. It's not fair. I'm still going to lose from my hubris. Yeah, they force again. Brainstorm this time. I do not envy my opponent having to face double top-decked Riddlers. That was definitely the best top deck in my deck. So the card was a Brainstorm. So they're down to 3 cards over there. And our Felia is growing, and our stack of clues is growing. And they missed a land drop. All right, there's the Valk. Come on, do it. You used all your forces. Now you're helpless against my Pyro. My Hydro, rather. All right. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Do you have yet another force? Even if you do, you're still at a disadvantage here. Okay. That was a really strong play. Now, if I don't have anything better to do, I can start cashing in my clues. I could flip a Tamio. I don't know that that's necessary. I think I just want to keep building up clues. Because they do have Prismatic Ending. So she's better as a, Felia buffer. I do want to make a land drop here. I think it's fine to ponder. I'm probably going to see a freaking Riddler, aren't I? Flow state's good. I think I have flow state, and then I grab, both of these. Do I have a sorcery? Yeah, I do have a sorcery now that I just cast that ponder. This is so sick. This is just like devastation, basically. This is like the best the deck can do. Everything is lined up perfectly. Riddler, sure. I'll take this Force Negation. And then we have like a pretty clear path to victory if Felia sticks around. And if not, I don't know. If they have another one of these, I'll just go ahead and flame it. Or I'll go ahead and force it. I think if they had a Pyro, they would have used it by now. Wait, yeah, they do have sorcery. I think they're so choked on mana that I'm going to let them have this. I'm not guaranteed to draw a blue card, though. If I get them to use their Pyro here, they're like pretty close to dead on board. I think I am going to do it. I know it sounds crazy, but if they Pyro here, it sucks, but like I've got like such a huge advantage here. They won't have the mana to deploy these. They'll be able to make a land drop potentially and find they do have it. So that would have hit my my dude anyway. So I've kind of reduced their options a little bit. They need to find land plow as their 2 cards they find. Because they have to get rid of my Felia. If I find a land, I probably will flip Tamio at this point. I've got so many clues that like the game might be over before I can cash them all in. All right. I think this is probably a Pyro. They're just waiting to see if I rip Riddler number 4. All right, that's fine. I think I am supposed to press here. Do 5 damage, get them to 2. But I think it's fine to just attack them, right? I'm going to go ahead and draw a card and just see what I find. If they have a path to a plow, then I just don't have a lot going on. And giving them a clue opens up a lot of angles. If I flicker it out, that's even worse. I think I'm just supposed to attack and see if they take the chump. I might be punting here. I think I telegraphed pretty hard that I have removal, and I was just opting not to use it. So that's probably what they're thinking here. If they have a plow or any sort of, it really does need to be a plow. Okay, they're just taking it. All right. So I think in the upkeep, they may have taken the card already, but I do think I hit this in the upkeep. And the reason I'm doing it in the upkeep is I don't want them to have the untapped land because it comes into play tapped, but I don't want them to have a wizard for the purpose of casting that spell just in case they have it. Because that would be a way they could pull back into it. Okay, they got the island there. Great game so far. If I lose, it's fine. I'm having fun and I'm learning. right, so I imagine they have maybe a Snapcaster. I think I'm just going to go for the attack, and then I'll brainstorm and try to find an answer here. I might even crack a clue and brainstorm. Okay, we got it. Yeah, I think I played right. Leave comments with timestamps. Like, I always want to play better. I just want to be clear. Like, I welcome feedback. I feel like this is a good configuration, taking out the plains. We're going to be on the draw, so we'll actually be even more likely to draw land. Our opponent's not going to do anything to accost our land. They know we're on no reserve list, so they know that we're probably just playing like a total of 3 or 4 non-basics total. So they're not going to bring it back to basics. I don't think they're going to bring in Blood Moon against us either. I like to Erode there just as a way to like end the game one turn faster. One thing I did with the Erode that was really cool the other day was like they were bolting my Felia and I wasn't going to be able to save her anyway. I was like, sure, I'll just Erode my Felia and I'll ramp myself. And that actually, I think I won that game. So Erode is just so flexible. I love it. Let's do it again. We're not going to be on the play this time and we're probably not going to get insane draws like we did there, but we're going to do our best here. We have yet to see Teferi or Narset, both of which are hammers in the matchup. All right, and this is a good hand. It's a very good hand. It's a one-laner, but we'll be okay. Again, I don't expect any pressure to our mana base. We don't have a clear line, but we could like protect Felia. If they turn 1 Tamio, I'll just Erode her, but that does feel bad. Maybe I'm supposed to force the turn 1 Tamio. Yeah, because I am going to want to probably surveil to find land number 2. I'm not guaranteed to find it. My opponent did mull. I'm going to go ahead and force, because one of the ways I could lose is them doing what I did last game, which was that was a Tamio game for sure. By the way, if anybody's like, why do you keep pronouncing it Tamio instead of Tamio like everybody else? I just want to emphasize, I'm respecting the fact that she's from the Japanese plane, Kamigawa, and they pronounce their A's as long A's. Okay, so this is great. We drew our land, so we do have Felia. Next turn, we can end step like Erode. If they like just YOLO Tamio plus, do they have another one? That's fine. I am gonna hit this. I don't want to deal with her. So you've got a land, but you've only got 3 cards, so I have to hope that that is meaningful. Because the real risk in this type of matchup is not that they flip her. It's that they just generate tons of clues like I did. Because I had a high degree of inevitability just because I had like 5 clues. Even though I never flipped her. They're probably playing Prismatic Ending too. So that's 2 Tamios out of the way. A Tamio of our own. What do we say about that? I think that is the priority here. Let's do that. They may have a plow. It's not a big deal if they plow her. It's a 1-for-1. And I don't want to plow my Felia because Felia has the upside of potentially killing them quickly. And we lose long games. They end it. That's fine. So just 1-for-1s, jockeying back and forth. I did give them a 2-for-1 when I forced, and I gave them a 2-for-1 when I hit their land. Or hit their Felia. Or Thalia. Sorry. Or no, Thalia. One of the other legendary creatures, Tamio. 9 minutes on my clock to their 12. The brainstorm with no shuffle. I'd love to see it. I just want to ponder here into a land. That would be the dream. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm here. Felia by herself is not exciting. Oh my goodness, deck. Well, that sucks. We do have Erode. Yeah, I guess I hold up. I'm probably going to force Force Negation, their next play. So I want to hold on to that. I could actually flow state to clear. Next turn I draw a clear with flow state. Yeah, I don't want the Force Negation. It's just less flexible. So I'll draw the flow state. I'll use flow state to clear. I do want to keep this Felia, but like maybe I should have put Felia back because I'm likely to draw redundant ones. Gosh, that was brutal. I do want to remind you that I did cut a land. So we're only at 19 land, but still, I think having seen 45, I should have seen like another land by now. So this is going to be me interacting. They are in the zone over there. So now I'll draw my own flow state, which is stinky flow state, and I'll attempt to do that. They have this for a second one. Well, congratulations, opponent. You win. You drew more flow states than I did. You got them online. I think this is deck building flaw is just that we don't have enough Lorien revealed, frankly. I'm going to go to the full 4. But this is my second league with this deck. Final land. Come on, land. That's not the land I want. I'm going to take this Riddler. I'm going to take it and I'm not going to be happy, but we're going to get rid of the Mystic Sanctuary, which is just terrible here. And we're on the extremely slow train to Quantum Riddler land. It's like 3 turns away, basically. But our opponent isn't not doing anything. Well, now they're doing something. And they are flow stating yet again. The problem with flow state is the same problem with expressive iteration. Flow states beget flow states. Land, please. Well, I need to find a land. I need to progress my mana base. This is good enough. So what I can do here is I could erode them, but like it's so bad at this point. I think I just need to go for the Felia and hope that they don't have removal, but like surely they'll have removal or some sort of interaction at this point. So I'll go get an island and I'll just Felia in the end step. And they even have Hardcast Force if they want to. They could even Lorien reveal here, which would be terrifying. Okay, so we're going to attempt our Felia here. They don't have Crocus or anything. They'll probably have to kill her, but they can kill using the red card. And then I can just erode the Planeswalker. It's the end step, so it's not going to have loyalty. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's do this. Again, like they're probably holding a bunch of Pyros and maybe Hardcast Forces and stuff. They're cracking a clue. That tells me they may not have a ready-made answer. Or they may just want to get one card deeper with their Brainstorm if they're going to Brainstorm here. Do you have a Plow? Okay, we're going on my turn. That's pretty awesome. Land, please. Come on, deck. Oh, they're going to do it now. Oh, we got a land. That's great. We are actually kind of still in this, as crazy as it sounds. This is Pyro. Sad. Very sad. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I will attack for 2. I think at this point, they've got 4 cards in hand. I don't think giving them a land is a big deal. I am worried that they may have a Brainstorm in hand. I'm going to see if they interact here. They would be crazy to do something here. Like if they Brainstorm now, because I'm not technically attacking. Yeah, they just let it go. That's fine. But I was hoping that they'd try to Brainstorm and then I can erode it. Because I don't want them drawing extra cards. That's how I lose. So I think, I think I probably should have eroded in the end step. I'm hoping that they flip her. And then I erode her, and then they don't have this card draw engine. But like this game feels extremely lost. Like the only thing that I could see working is like I draw a flow state. Obviously that would save me. The problem with flow state is it makes games like this where you're like so far behind, you can still win. Like you shouldn't be able to just win from a position like this. But technically I can because I have flow state in my deck. Pyroblast. Okay, well that's good to know about. All right. Come on, Riddler or flow state. I am done. We're not winning this game. All right, 2-2. Yeah, the bigger control deck won. Final round. We're up against an unknown opponent. We got a pretty good hand. I'm going to keep this. I'll just lead with the Meticulous Archive and just try to surveil till land 3. If I can put a sorcery in my graveyard, it's like extra delicious. Felia is going to stay right there. Hopefully they don't waste me because then I will have to get lucky with finding a land. I'll probably have to fetch an island and then try to Brainstorm for a land. If they're on a tempo deck, it would be wise to just go ahead and waste me here. So this could be blue-black or it could just be a generic fetch in an otherwise blue deck. I'm going to just chill. If they put Bowmaster on the stack, I can Brainstorm. I could Felia, but it's probably not advisable. A lot of the blue-black tempo decks are not even really tempo decks anymore. They become control because you want the game to last long when you're on flow state. So they've gone on like 2 dazes and they're playing fewer threats and just more spells. Like I saw a blue-black air quotes tempo deck. I'll just call it blue-black control with, I could think for a second. So I actually do kind of think that this is the moment for Felia. Here's why. Because if they daze, they have now, if Felia makes it through daze, like if they daze, that sets them back quite a bit. But if they just play out like an underground scene or island or something, daze is not a big deal. So if they are playing the 2 days version, they may not have it. And then I could just force a fatal push and they may not be able to daze back. They do have the daze. Well, she's important enough to resolve. I'm going to pitch a Brainstorm here. I'm thinking about pitching a flow state. Is that crazy? I think it is crazy. Or do you have a force as well? They have a Street Wraith. They cycle. There's a very high likelihood they just go, Underground Sea, Fatal Push, but they're actually forcing back. Okay. So this resolves. So I'm down quite a few cards here, unfortunately. Technically, that was the exact same amount of exchange. They can replay their land and immediately get a surveil. I hate to say it, but I might just flow state just to get deeper into my deck and try to find... Because I can't whiff on land. I need to continue to develop my mana, especially because they're almost certainly going to waste me in a minute. Hopefully they cast like a ponder here. They might Thoughtseize me. They are Thoughtseizing me. Okay. Well, if they put the flow state in my graveyard, they just did me a huge favor. But I think they're going to put the Riddler. So the fact that they have Street Wraith tells me one of two things. One, they're on Doomsday. Or two, they're on like the Moonshadow deck. I think they're more likely on Doomsday based on Street Wraith. I think that's much better represented in the meta right now. They should take the Riddler here. Taking Flow State would be a big mistake, but like Flow State is the new hotness, but Riddler is secretly better than Flow State. It's just that it's better in particular shells. The problem with Flow State is it's better in every shell, basically. Every blue deck should play 4 of these, except for like Merfolk. Okay, and they took my Brainstorm. Interesting. So that tells me they probably have Daze. They could be on Death's Shadow. Petal. Okay, they're on Doomsday. Are they going to go for Doomsday right now? Dark Ritual Doomsday? You got to be kidding me. What a freaking sequence. My opponent's gaming. I think we're dead. Their hand is 1 land, but they can like play that land out next turn to get deeper into their deck. I do get a turn, but like the number of things that would need to come together. Like, I just want to remind you, my opponent, this is their second turn. They brainstormed, they double interacted with my stuff. And yeah, they are choosing the Street Race here. They're going to be very low in life. If I draw like Ophelia, I might be able to kill him, but like I've already used Ophelia. I think they can kill me next turn. Because what they'll do is they'll grab Petals. So they're grabbing double Street Wraith. All right. Let's take a look at their thing. So for those of you new to the Be Excellent channel, Buffalo Chicken Dip Fop, overdressed guy at the BCD. So we already know what's in their hand. We just need to figure out what's in their pile. Wait a second. Did they brainstormed? They could have put the land back. Yeah, they could have put that land back, actually. So let me just make sure. They probably did actually put it back. Yeah, Undercity Sewers is right there. So they did put it back. So we don't know what's in their hand. They're on like the full spell version, which makes our sideboarding a lot easier. They don't have the cavern in. Interesting. They could have 2 caverns. I played against somebody. Was that in this? That was the same freaking league. Holy cow. That was just yesterday. I stopped recording after that one. I don't see Duras or anything like that. It's just Thoughtseize is their protection and a whole bunch of stack interaction. Let's count the forces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are the 4 forces. Again, Wizards, please add a sort button here. I'm going to count the dazes because they're almost certainly not playing a daze, and this gives me an idea of whether they're playing 3 dazes or 4. I actually only see 2 dazes. They may have a daze in hand. They almost always play 3 dazes. No, wait. Oh, I see all 3. Okay. So they're not using Edge of Autumn as a cycler. They only have 1 personal tutor, it looks like. They're not planning to turbo with LED. They don't have Consider in their pile. They're so low in life. If only I could do even 1 damage to them, I could screw them. But unfortunately, my deck doesn't have that in its range. Like, even if I riddle... Yeah, like, my top deck has to be, like, land and then riddle and then find... I actually don't know what we find, but I suspect I'm dead next turn. I'm just not sure how I'm dead next turn. They might pass the turn twice, but I don't think that's very common. All right, so their pile is Oracle... some sort of second land or petal. Let's count the petals. 1, 2. They usually play 3, and I don't see the third one. So I think they do have a petal, and that's how they're going to cast it. So they cycle. They draw. They cycle, petal, do it. And then I just don't have removal. So actually, if I draw one of my removal spells, they may have a card left in their deck after all is said and done. Because I don't think they're going to be able to clear the whole pile. Is they draw Petal for turn, they Street Wraith, Petal, crack, because they're too low. Yeah, I think they should have taken the other cycler, but maybe they do have a second cycler, and they are going to completely clear the pile. So draw, cycle. They'd still have 1 card in their deck. And we didn't see Consider in their pile. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to basically give up. In the sense that I'm going to just trust that they are going to win next turn. And I didn't... Like, I could luck into one of my counter spells, but I actually need this land. So I have to use this before I can cast the Riddler. So, yeah, like, the way to think about Lorien Revealed is it's basically an ETB tapped land. So now they win. Unless I draw exactly force. I do draw force, so I might be able to win here. Because they didn't take the cavern. But they might have a double oracle pile. I do have a sorcery in my graveyard. I can flow state now. Okay, 1, 2. Thassa's Oracle. I will force it. They have another Thassa's Oracle in their deck. I feel confident of this. They're at 1 though. The next Thassa I have to counter 2. So I need flow state to give me that. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to do it like this. Technically, fetching increases the odds, but not by a lot. And I just like the optionality of being able to choose a color later. So I can take this Felia and this force. And then if they wait a turn to ensure that it's clear, because I haven't conceded yet, they might think, okay, I need to wait a turn to ensure that I've completely cleared my pile. Then I can put in the Felia and I can attack them for lethal. They're not waiting. I think they win. Oh yeah, they can cycle this. So that guarantees it. Good game. Well played. Yeah, there wasn't anything I could have done there. Wait a second. I could have put I could have put a force on top. I punted because I had this land. These were not, wait, did I draw? No, I think I had the Flooded Strand before I cast the flow state, I believe, because I took the force. Yeah, I punted. I actually should have put a force on top, but I'm not actually sure that I would have seen, if I'd done that I would have seen a force and a blue card. But there was a chance that I like would have seen that, because the other card was a land, so it might have been that I saw the force that I just put on there and the land and the thing. I don't know how it was stacked, but it doesn't really matter. The point is, I still punted. Okay, so against the turbo, I'm going to put that in. I think Narset's worth bringing in here. I'm just going to completely take out my creature removal stuff like we did in round 1. They could try to Jace me. I don't really mind. Consign is very good here, as we saw in round 1, even though I dissed it a whole lot. Back to basics is fine. Let's do it. Would love to lock the, positive record, especially all the effort I put into rounds 1, 2, and really 4. That was a high effort round as well, though it came up short. Round 3 wasn't really that close. Yeah, this is fine. Let's think about this. This doesn't have a force. So the thing is, if they just have it, and I think they're going to try to turbo me. I need a force. Yeah. So this doesn't have, we put back the Felia here, and then we just force until we draw land. I didn't put back any lands, but I don't like keeping hands that don't have blue cards. But I think against a true turbo deck like this, we'd be in error not to do so. Even if we draw a card and it's not a land, it's probably a blue card, so it gives us a force. And then if I do find an island, the last card I'm going to pitch is Tamio, because they may go all out here with Dark Ritual, Doomsday, Street Wraith. Okay, all right, they're just passing. All right, they have Cabal Therapy. They're going to win the lottery here. Come on, land. All right, back up Felia. So they know my hand has to be loaded down with forces here. So they can just basically sandbag a bunch of counter magic and take their time here. And that's what they should do. They should switch from turboing me to taking their time. Land, please. All right, there we go. So I think the right play here is to probably attempt the Felia in the end step. That way we preserve days. I don't want to play out the Tamio just because there is a chance that Felia will probably be good enough to kill them, because she didn't have to hit them that many times. They don't have that much life. If they daze of Felia, it's okay. That's days that they would have used on something else. And that'll be in their end step, so I'll just let it go. Okay, they ban a force. They may have Veil or some other card that just blanks all of our interaction. Thoughtseize. I'm going to go ahead and... do I just let them do it? Because then I turn on daze. I think I do play her out, because she'll be the most likely thing that they Thoughtseize here. They could have double days and it'd be humiliating to lose that way, but I think it is correct to just put my piece on the table. We have redundant, we have exactly 2 force effects here anyway, even with their Thoughtseize. They do days. Okay, that's fine. That's the days they won't be using on one of my forces here. Unfortunately, we're not even close to flow state. They probably take the Tamio here, because she is the little choo-choo that can. They do. And then they should just chill and wait to draw more Thought Seizes. So we need a good card off the top, but I'm tempted to cast this Flow State just to get deeper into our deck. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll do it around days. It sucks, but this is the only stinky Flow State we'll have to cast. From here, everything will be gravy. We did rip a Riddler, which will draw us a lot of cards. Like if we get into a force fight and then we draw something that can be cast, then we do have Riddler. Okay, Surveil. They could have Bowmaster, but I think I just let Bowmaster happen. No, I force Bowmaster because I get extra cards. And I'll likely find a blue card for the other force. So I'm not going to fetch here because I actually want to draw land because it gets me closer to casting out Riddler. Lorien Reveal is nice. I think I'm going to go ahead and Lorien Reveal it first. I'll get an island. I'll play it out. I need them to force this Riddler so I can get extra cards. But they know that I can do that and they probably won't interact with it. All right, we're in. We get our card. Is it a blue card? It is not. All right, we will pass. They could, in theory, like Thoughtseize plus force and we're out, but they're not going to be able to daze here. And we're 2 turns away from casting Riddler out unless we draw a land, in which case we could probably just play them next turn. They've used one of their 3 dazes. They're on the draw, but I think they always keep the dazes in anyway. Flow State. I hate to do this because they could just Dark Ritual Doomsday. But this card is just so good. And I'm getting closer to being able to force. They don't know that we don't have a second blue card. They might think that we do if we're doing this. They might also just force back or Flusterstorm or do any number of things. But I think just like they may not have the Doomsday, and Flow State is extremely good at digging. That's why they went down to one personal tutor, is because they have the ability to dig. I don't technically have Hardcast Force next turn, unfortunately. So I will have to draw a blue card. Leave a comment with the timestamp if you strongly disagree with it, and pause it before you see the outcome, before you type your message. If you disagree with this, because obviously, yeah, I think that was a good force if they force back, but it does suck. They're definitely favored from here because they did have the force, and if they already have the Dark Ritual and they're just looking for the Doomsday, they are going to Doomsday me, and then I'm going to have to win after the Doomsday, and that'll be a nightmare. It's so hard to do. I want them to like play a land or do really anything that decreases their total hand size. Are they going to flow again? They have it. They freaking have it. And I didn't punt. I would be dead to the Doomsday. Or I would have had to force anyway. They would have forced my force anyway. And they would have... Yeah, the upside there was there, but the downside was not there, if that makes sense. I do think the fact that our deck can't meaningfully pressure early game is a problem. I don't think it would have been correct to try to force to protect Felia when we're up against a known combo deck. So to recap, we played against 2 fair decks and we played against 3 combo decks. And control is just going to struggle with combo decks. It's not as bad against combo decks as aggro. So control beats aggro. Tempo often beats control, but not always. And then combo beats control usually and beats aggro. That's kind of my mental framework for thinking about the 4 real archetypes. Then you got like Prison, you got like Battle Cruiser, you got all these other ones that are less frequently played in Legacy. Okay, so let's take a look at their pile. They may just be able to win here. They've got 2 cards, they've got 2 cards in hand. So again, they took the, no wait, I see a Street Wraith. I see another Street Wraith. I think they're on the slower train. This time they did, because they know about the force, they did take the Cavern. So we don't know what's in their hand. Let's count the forces. 1. Yeah, all their forces are out. Let's count their dazes. I think their hand might be double daze. Unless they trim dazes, which is rare, again. They did actually bring in Flusterstorm, interestingly. That was a card that is rarely played, but is very good in combo decks where you need to protect your combo. It's like an offensive counterspell, basically, kind of like Pact. They don't have the LED in. I don't think they're going to win this turn. If they attempt to cancel, we probably have to force it just to try to buy time. They don't have Brainstorm in. They don't have Ponder in. They may have 2 Flow States in there. But Flow State actually isn't good unless they get an instant in their yard. Edge of Autumn is a sorcery. So, yeah, they don't have a way to turn on Flow State. So I think their pile plus hand is probably Caverns. and maybe double Thassa's Oracle like previously, just in case I have a consign. I think that's what I would do for them, but keep in mind, I know nothing about playing Doomsday. Okay, so I'm just going to let this go, because if I do draw a land, I can't play this out, and if they have like a multi-pass the turn line, which is unlikely, then I could kill them with this. It's less likely though. Okay, Felia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out, and then I can flash in the Felia in the instep, and if there is an instep. I will keep that there because that is a blue card for force, but I seriously doubt they're not just going to win next turn. Like, they've got tons of mana. Dark Ritual. Are they going to do the Jace? Flow state. Okay. So I was correct that I thought they had some flow states because I only counted 2. So that Dark Ritual will turn on the flow state, so they're able to get 2 cards. Now they have the uncounterable victory. And yeah, that was a bittersweet end of the league. We started out really strong. They're thought seizing me. I guess I'll play this out. It doesn't matter. Like, hey, look at what I've got. It doesn't matter. You've got like the game. You win. So they take my force here. I'm drawing a brainstorm, which could, in theory, find something, but like they are just going to win here, I think. Yeah, they're tapping it. Good game. And they played very well. They played very carefully. They were, as soon as they saw that I was stuck on lands, they did a great job of navigating that. So yeah, again, bitter, sweet, that we, like, I think the deck is good, but I do have some deck tech clinic things I'm going to do right now to make the deck better. All right. And to wrap things up, I think the changes that need to be made are we need more sorceries. We have 6+ flow state. I like to play 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of these, and then I think 8 plows might be slightly too much. We could cut an Erode, and then we can cut a land. Now we've actually gone up on mana sources here. I don't want to cut, like, I think the land to cut is actually the Surveil land. Hear me out. I know people love their Surveil lands, and I'm not a Surveil land, like, true believer. I'm frequently like cutting them from my deck. We have 18 lands. These are all effectively ETB tap lands anyway. How many times have we cast this during the league though? How many times have we pitched this to force? How many times have I don't know if we use this to shuffle brainstorms and stuff. I think this is secretly like the best tech to use with flow state. Now you might be thinking like card draw. Like, what does your deck do other than draw cards? But the point of drawing cards is eventually you just overwhelm your opponent, and like, you don't necessarily need to win. We did win that game against Delver just by drawing a lot of the cards. Now, they surveilled a lot of cards away, which is why their deck was thinner than ours, even though we had no win cons left, and why we would have decked out. And they came to that conclusion. They didn't actually know that we didn't have any win cons on our deck. But we would have just sat there and like basically just played very conservatively and played that out. So I think this is going to be better because this is 18 lands, but they're all like rock solid lands. I do want to have a Hollow Fountain. The Jeskai deck that I said was playing 2 duels and just a bunch here. I'm going to try to find it. Well, unfortunately I couldn't find the exact list, but it was just 4 Tomio and 4 Otters as the only win cons, basically. And Tomio's not even really a win con. And then it had a single 4th Aerolingus. But it was also playing the spell that our opponent was playing, which was the Flame of Anur spell. And it was sweet. But the only duels were 1 Valk and 1 Tundra, and that was it. So I think that could potentially be a no reserve list deck that I could play on the channel in the future. But overall, I think these changes are going to improve the deck. We'll see. I'm going to definitely revisit it. I think that blue-white is very strong because it makes the game go long. What do you want to do with flow state? You want to go long so you can draw your flow states so you can start reaping card advantage. And there's no amount of card advantage that's too much. You can't have too much. I mean, like, look at Beanstalk. It just draws cards like crazy too. Flow state doesn't even draw cards. My prediction is that Beanstalk itself is just going to be like pretty outmoded. Like, it's hard to imagine you needing to splash green, which isn't that great of a color, frankly. The best colors are blue and black and white, in my humble opinion. And then red is good because it's good against blue. And it's good in tempo, obviously. So I think that, like, and again, I hope you don't think like, Be Excellent doesn't respect the green and the red. Like, I do. It's just the practical reality is you're going to win a lot more games with blue and black and white than you are with red and green, in my humble opinion. So if you can avoid having to splash a color and just play a 2-color deck, great. And with Prismatic Ending not being required to win anymore since you got Erode. Before, it was super awkward to play Prismatic Ending in your 2-color decks. And also Prismatic Ending sometimes costs as much as 3 to clear that Teferi, and it can't even clear, a Kaito, for example, unless you're like on a 4-color deck or like heaven forbid, like Ugin or anything like that, right? So I think this is a huge card. It's really good. I've ordered all 4 of mine in paper, and if you can get them on MTGO, they're like 90. It would cost $90 to buy 3 of these right now. It's just crazy how expensive it is. But I am a true believer in Erode. I think we saw lots of instances where it was good, especially against that Delver player. But I think 3 is probably okay, and you don't need to go the full 4. So as always, I try to test everything with 4 of just to make sure we see everything, and then I can draw better conclusions. I am convinced that Flow State is a 4 of. We saw how strong it was on the other side of the table in several of those rounds, especially against the combo players. So you just get used to it being a staple. Thankfully, they printed it at Unlimited. You can get yours for like $5. That's how much I paid for mine off eBay. So until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.